back, Eagle fans. Welcome back. Victory Monday. Man, I'll tell you what, I am speechless, and man, it's hard for me right now to put my thoughts into words because of how excited I am. We had Victory Sunday, and we have a Victory Monday because there's nothing better than having a football weekend where our Eagles advance to the NFC Championship game. And those Dallas Cowgirls are going home. Going home. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the 49ers. Isn't it a shame? But I don't care. I'm not a Cowgirls fan. But all I know is that our team won. We beat those Giants 38-7, and we're going to another NFC Championship game and hopefully the road to the Super Bowl. Man, it's just like I said, I'm just speechless. I can't even put uh my excitement into words, but I'll try my best today. I'll try my best not to disappoint y'all, but we're gonna be we're gonna be recapping the game between the Eagles and the Giants and see how that game went. Um it was a it was a dominating performance by our birds. Uh, unlike those Dallas Cowgirls, right? Actually, both the Cowgirls and the Niners really didn't put out a good game out there yesterday. I don't know if it's because both of them were playing well or both of them weren't playing well, but to my eye test, it just looked to me like really their offenses weren't clicking and their defenses did play pretty good, but the 49ers defense didn't look that well against the Cowgirls offense. So I don't know what the hype is about that 49ers defense. I mean, even the interceptions they had, but that second interception was a good play on the ball. But it still was a ball that Dak shouldn't have thrown because the receiver had two people on him. He was kind of like had double coverage on him. Should have thrown it, but that first pass, I don't know what Dak was looking at because he threw it almost straight to the defender. So, but that's Dak Prescott for you, turnover machine. Um, so let's get back and let's get started with our birds. So, New York Giants came back in. This is the third game we played them in this season. I actually thought it was going to be a more difficult game because of that, because I thought that the Giants would have kind of like developed a better game plan this time, especially if they went off the first game we played. But I don't know what kind of game plan they did because they couldn't stop us on offense. They couldn't even drive on us when we was on defense. So I don't know what their plans were, but it definitely didn't work. And I think they were kind of hoping that Jalen Hurts was not 100% or be able to play the game that he usually played throughout the season, especially the way he played on week 18. I think they was like kind of hoping, okay, hope we get that Jalen Hurts we got on week 18. But I mean, I already kind of felt like the Eagles were kind of playing possum with everybody on the Jalen Hurts injury. I'm not saying that he's not injured, but I just think the severity of the injury, they're kind of playing possum with people, trying to make people believe that Jalen Hurts was not going to be able to do the things he normally did during the season because of his shoulder. But uh, they they were definitely wrong on that. Jalen Hurts actually came out looking like his old self a little bit. I mean, I don't think he was 100% himself, but he was still out there. He made sure to let them know that he was going to be a problem on their offense, on our offense against their defense. So they was definitely going to have to scheme to keep him in check. So that kind of helped open up our offense a little bit more, having him out there. So let's look at like what our offense did against the Giants. And I'll start with the offense. This time because we got the ball first, which was kind of a big mistake on their part. And we were saying that if we did win the toss, we should get the ball first, so that way we can go down, put points on the board, get them already trailing behind us, so that way we can get them out of their game plan and try to make them one-dimensional. And that's exactly what we did. And once I saw we were getting the ball first, I was like, okay, this is the tone setter. See how the offense goes out there, see how Jalen Hurts does, see how Lane Johnson does from his injury. And he kind of worried me there for a second. He was kind of he looked kind of gimpy, like he was still favoring it. But I guess, when you haven't played in a while and you're still kind of injured, that soreness is still there. But once you get warmed up a little bit, play a little bit more, then he got back into his to his Pro Bowl self, and you can see that in the game. He was definitely shutting down Thibodeau or whoever they put on that side of the line. There was nothing. I mean, Jalen Hurts had protection all day. Like there was nothing nothing they could. I mean, they couldn't do nothing. It was just we were literally at 100% strength, and that kind of it just kind of went back to week 14. We was 100% strength in that game, and it showed in this game. They're just not a better team than we are. We have the better team, and I think at this point right now, I think after watching a lot of these games this weekend, I think we're the best team in the NFL. I mean, our record shows it, our play shows it. If we play like this against the 49ers, man, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. So we'll start with Jalen Hurts. Like I said, there's the concerns with him about his injury, but having that extra week and those 2 weeks to get prepared for this game and to rehabilitate or just, kind of recover from that injury really did help him out. He didn't have a great statistical game, but that's because of how the game went. In the first half, he had a really, really good statistical game because he had over 100 yards passing by the time the second half came around. And I think on that first drive, he didn't have not one incompletion. I think even coming on to the next drive, I think he was 7 for 7, if I remember correctly, at one point. He was not missing throws. And I mean, these weren't like 5-yard, dink and dunk passes either. Like that first pass he hit to Devontae Smith, that was to let everybody know, guess what? I'm back. So you better be ready. And he was 16 of 24 for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. And one was rushing and one was a passing touchdown. So he just looked really good out there. I mean, by the time second half came around, he didn't have to run the ball. We just basically just said, you know what? We're not putting any more on film. We got this game. There's nothing they can do. We're shutting them down on defense. We're just going to control the clock, control this game, and we're not going to put anything else on tape to show our next opponent. We're just going to keep it kind of like real simple, just run simple run concepts, nothing, they basically just ran it straight down the Giants' throat. The big surprise, Kenneth Gainwell, man, I did not see this coming. 12 carries, 112 yards. He was overdue though, man, because he kind of switches up the the way we run the ball from like the way Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders runs the ball a certain way. Kenneth Gainwell runs the ball a certain way, and so does Boston Scott. So when Kenneth Gainwell comes in there, he just has a different speed. He hits the hole different. He's just a different runner. So like the defense is not, when they're getting adjusted to Miles Sanders running the ball, then boom, Kenneth Gainwell goes in there and they're like, man, we got adjust to this guy. He got different speed on him. So it was just hard for them to contain Kenneth Gainwell in that game. I mean, Miles Sanders was not far behind him. He had 90 yards rushing. I think he could have had 100 yards if we really wanted him. I think if we wanted him to get it, he would have had it. I think we're, limiting his carries too by that time. So we kind of like, put Kenneth Gainwell out there and Boston Scott run a couple of times. And what about Boston Scott scoring another touchdown, man? Man, that's all I look forward to when we play the Giants is Boston Scott scoring that touchdown. That's what I wanted to see in that game. That old B. Scott, man, the Giant killer doing his thing. I really wanted him to return the kickoff, but we didn't get that many of those. So he didn't have that many opportunities to return kicks. So I want to say, he only had like one. Let's see. No, we didn't even have. No, we didn't have any kick return, did we? Well, I mean, I don't see any stats on that, but yeah, just happy to see him still continuing this thing. Was it Wink Martindale, whatever their defense coordinator? I don't know who that is. Come on, dude, this dude done scored a touchdown. Y'all played us twice. He scored a touchdown in each game. And then here he is again, scoring. I guess you better get to know him if you're going to stay in New York for a little while, because I don't think Boston Scott is going anywhere anytime soon, honestly. So you better get to know him when you play him. There's a reason why we call him the Giant Killer. And I think, like, that's when, like, egos get in the way. So, I mean, he might just been saying that to save face, but there were probably word like, hey, if they bring in Boston Scott, man, we got to do this and that, So we got to load the box. We got to keep an eye on him because you can't see him when he's behind the line and he sneaks out through one of them openings. So you got to keep your eyes, ready. But our we ran again. That's why I say I don't know what they were thinking, man. I think they were just demoralized by the, I think by 21-0, I think they already knew, like, man, this shit is not going good again. This is like, like when you watch or you listen to a song and they make a remix of it. It has the same lyrics, but maybe they bring in like, a guest singer or a rapper or whoever on there. And but it's the same song, except it's a little, they just add a little bit of twist, maybe change the beat up a little bit. Man, that's pretty much what we did to them. We switched it up. Our defense play, it was in the same defense we had out there in the first game. The second game is pretty similar, but I'm pretty sure we didn't throw any like schemes for them to see or for anybody to see with GJ in the slot. So, but this, but 260 yards rushing. I think 268 actually. That's ridiculous because in the first game we had over 250 yards rushing. How do you let the same team run on you for over 200? Like 200 yards is ridiculous, and you let the same team run on you. But I mean, they just are the offensive line, man. They were making them grown men look like boys out there. Even Dallas Goedert was popping, man. There was one run, I think, to the left, and at first I thought it was Jason Kelce because, like, watching, you heard the pop, and you could see the guy flying off the field, And I couldn't tell who the person was at first until they showed the replay. And then in my mind, I'm thinking that's Jason Kelsey who pulled, because he usually pulls on those type of runs. But then when I looked at it, I was like, that's Dallas Goedert lighting people up like that. That's how I knew. I was like, they Giants are in, man, they're gonna have a long day today. But they were making them men look like boys out there. They were just throwing around Jason Kelsey tossing people with one arm. Like, what the heck? you know, um Balada, Malata out there just throwing people around like they were nothing. Like, these guys are freaking they have pro bowlers on that defensive line. And they were just tossing them around like they were nothing. But hey, we got our whole offensive line is our pro bowlers, first team and second team. So I guess that's what happens. That's like we're the train and they were just a Mack truck. And who's gonna win when those two go head to head? That train gonna demolish that Mack truck. So that's just what happened. All right, so receiving, this was well, I said before, I said either Dallas Goedert or Devontae Smith going to have a big game, but I picked Devontae Smith as the number one, have a big game, and he did. I mean, he only got 61 yards, but that's because we just ran the ball for the majority of the second half. And Dallas Goedert was not far behind him with 58 yards, so those two, I knew that, get Jalen Hurts comfortable, start kicking some short passes out to Dallas Goedert, hit Devontae Smith, on the long, 10 and out passes or whatever. That's going to be your guy. And I knew they was going to blanket A.J. Brown, which they did. But A.J. Brown just didn't have, because we ran the ball a lot, he just didn't have a lot of opportunities to get the ball thrown at him in that game. He only had 22 yards, which is probably his worst game of the season, but that happens, man. We knew this would happen with having these three out there. One of them was not going to have a good game. I mean, y'all remember in the Detroit Lions game, at the first game of the season, Devontae Smith didn't have any catches, no yards. And people were hyping that up, but I was like, that's going to happen. If A.J. Brown is killing it and Dallas Goedert out there killing it, that's just the way the game is going. Somebody's not going to get all those receptions. Look, Quez Watkins didn't get no receptions. Zach Pascal got a reception. You know what I'm saying? He caught a pass. And it was just they couldn't stop us, man. They couldn't stop us. It's just we just have too many weapons. So the offense, man, if they play like this in the next game, it's going to be hard to stop. But I haven't seen anybody stop our offense. The only time our offense has been stopped was in the Saints game with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. If it's a Jalen Hurts-led offense, I haven't seen anybody this season. I think the Colts, maybe. Dallas couldn't stop us. Man, I can't think of any team that was able to stop our offense. And like I mentioned before, the only way our offense is stopped is with, ourselves. And even in the Giants game, you saw it, right? The Giants game, they couldn't stop us. The one drive, they did stop us. Guess what? It was a penalty. Was it a holding penalty or illegal man down? It might have been illegal man downfield. I think Lane Johnson was the culprit. But that was the only time they stopped us on offense, was that. I'm telling you, is that we are the only ones that can stop us. Our mistakes, pre-snap mistakes, holdings, turnovers. We didn't turn over the ball. There was one. Jalen Hurts was not pressured in that game either. Or he was sacked one time, and it was a good play on the Giants, and they almost got a strip sack. So Jalen Hurts didn't see. He was about to throw the ball, and they were able to hit his arm, and so he fumbled, and luckily we recovered. So, but we didn't turn the ball over, not once. Um, but yeah, that's it. If we don't turn over the ball too, not gonna stop us. All right, so we roll over to the defense. Man, the defense played lights out again. They play lights out. They contained Daniel Jones. They stopped Barkley. Um, let's see what the Giants. I know Daniel Jones only had 135 yards passing. In the first game, he had 169, and that tells you. And he threw a pick. Bradbury got the pick, man. If there was one person that I wanted to get interception on that team was Bradbury. My next one, of course, was CJ Since since coming back, I want him to get uh another interception, but Bradbury got it, and it's against his old team, so pretty much an FU to you again. So, and a thank you from us, Philadelphia Eagles, for letting him go. And Daniel Jones he was hitting us in the middle a little bit, but I think that's because Reed Blankenship, he was off on his coverage at first. But as the game went, Reed Blankenship got a lot better. He started breaking up passes. He started seeing the field better. So he started breaking on the balls and breaking them up. So he got a lot better. After that, he couldn't do anything else. Saquon Barkley, he had 61 yards rushing, which is not bad. And then we held Daniel Jones 24. Because usually Daniel Jones will have more yards than Saquon Barkley in the game. And then Saquon had 21 receiving, which was a surprising to me because I thought he would have more receiving yards and rushing yards in this game. I thought they was going to probably try to utilize him more, get him out in the flats, throw a lot more screens to him, throw a lot more swing passes, try to get him out into the open and going up against our secondary, our cornerbacks, try to make our cornerbacks tackle him. But I tell you what, Kaiser White was on his game. Hey, bleed green forever. I'm telling you, Kaiser White did his thing in this game. Big ups to him. He came out to play. He did what he was supposed to do. He shut down. Saquon Barkley on those swing passes and stuff, and pretty much, blanketed him that whole game. And then TJ Edwards kept. I say it was a combination. TJ Edwards and Marcus Epps kept Daniel Jones in check, and so did the line. The defensive line, they really did contain him. They kept their rushing lanes. I mean, there's probably a couple of times where Daniel Jones was able to escape out because of um, they didn't stay in their lanes a little bit, or they just got blocked better on those plays, but it didn't happen that much. They were still all over Daniel Jones. So our defense, we'll start with let's see, our defensive line got 5 sacks. I was hoping they'll get more, 6 or 7, but they should have got a sack on another sack because when they hit Daniel Jones at one play, he threw the ball. That should have been intentional grounding. I don't know why they did not call intentional grounding on that play. That should have been another sack because there was nobody in the area. So Hassan Reddick had 1.5 sacks. Brandon Graham, BG, got another sack. Josh Sweat had 1.5. And I'm missing Fletcher. Flex. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Fletcher Cox got him a sack, man. Old veteran coming through. We stepping up. And I already mentioned the Bradbury interception. Darius Slade played a lot better in this game. He definitely held his own. There wasn't, I mean, they were just throwing like maybe short, quick passes against him, but that's about it. He didn't let, he didn't get beat deep on this time, but I'm pretty sure he had that on the back of his mind during this game. He was not going to let that happen again. Let me see, CJ, he was out there making tackles, like good tackles. And that's only my main criticism of him is he's not a great tackler, but he was out there, man. He was doing his thing. Um, Jordan Davis had a couple of tackles. I mean, he's been kind of like a non-factor. I mean, when I say non-factor, I guess he's not jumping out on the TV at you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure he's doing what he has to do because sometimes I don't even notice when he's out there. Um, Javon Hargrave, I'm surprised he did not have a sack. But they were probably, like I said, on that line, you know, not doing a lot of bull rushing, and he's really good at bull rushing. And they were trying to keep Daniel Jones in the pocket, so he probably didn't do a lot of bull rushing. He just, tried to apply pressure and stay in front of Daniel Jones. Uh, Let me see. Linval Joseph was out there. Sue was out there, but I mean they're out there to prevent you know those gaps from opening up on the runs. They're not necessarily going to make those tackles, but they're going to give them other guys opportunities like the linebackers to hit those gaps. You know what I'm saying? And prevent the running back from bouncing the ball outside or from just taking it up to an open gap. Those some big run stuffers there. I was surprised Josh Joe when he came out there, man. He made a pretty good tackle. It was two tackles. I forget who did a tackle before him, but those are two big hits. They were hitting them guys out there. And Robert Quinn was out there applying pressure. He was making. He had a tackle. I mean, our defense was just. I mean, they played lights out too, and I was hoping that they didn't allow them to score, but I think they were at that time they were playing like, okay, we're gonna let you. I mean, I'm surprised the Giants. I mean, I know you got to run the ball, but it was a point where they just kept running the ball, running the ball. But I think they knew, okay, they think we're going to pass, or the defense was playing a little bit more, more lazy, I guess, in coverage, or we were just trying to prevent them from getting those chunk yards. So we sat back more in the zone, and they just attacked our zone with their run. And I think they took like 6-7 minutes off the clock doing that. I was like, y'all are down like 4 touchdowns, and y'all took 6 minutes off the clock. Sorry, this is not gonna win you the game, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if we get up on a team, that's it. Like, make them one dimensional. Like, they gotta pick their poison, man. They're not, it's going to be hard for teams to come back. It's hard for teams to come back on us when we're up by that much. And so our defense kind of, Jonathan Gannon gets a lot of slack out there, but he does play the field well. Like, it might not look statistically well against us because, like, in that second half, he was just like, let them get the short yards. We'll let them drive out the ball downfield as long as they waste time, which is a good strategy. As long as you don't let them, kill us with, one shot here or, with quick, with a big play that they'll score in like 1 minute on the next drive or something, you know what I'm saying? And then special teams, didn't fumble the ball, uh, didn't allow any big returns. They were doing, I mean, I think on all three phases, we played very well. And this was a complete team win. And we just got to keep this going into the next game. It was, man, it was just, it's great. Great knowing your team is advancing to the, NFC Championship when the other team in your division just got, just got booted out, got sent back home. They got to sit on the couch and watch you play and potentially go to the Super Bowl. So like I said, it's going to be us against the 49ers, and that game is on Sunday at 3 p.m. Looking forward to that game. I will do a game preview of it here probably on later on this week on Friday. So if you follow me on Twitter at UMCIE, I will probably put a tweet out there, and I want fans to come on. So I will send an invitation out and tell you what time I'll be doing that preview. So if you want to come on here, send me your comments or comment while I'm doing the broadcast. You can come join me, give me your opinions, or just, if you want to give shout outs to our Eagles, or just come on here and talk birds. That's all good. And I'll send that out. And you can send me a message on there on Twitter at UMCIE if you want to come on. And I will post the link. And then anybody can come on there and give me your thoughts on our Eagles. So, before I go into that again, so also you can do it on Facebook at Angry Birds Fans Hangout, or you can go on our YouTube page, Angry Birds Fans Hangout. And I did a little tribute video. It's not a hype video, it's a tribute video, or it's called The Road to the Playoffs, the Eagles Road to the Playoffs. So if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, please go over there and subscribe and view that video. It's kind of long. I didn't mean for it to be that long, but I put almost every game in there. So it's highlights for every game that we played. And also it tells the story of from our playoff loss last year in Tampa Bay to how we got to where we are now, and the games that we played to get to here, except minus, of course, the playoff game against the Giants. It's not in there. But if you just want to take a look at it, if you have nothing to do, I mean, it's like a 40-minute video. Go on there. And also did a Jalen Hurts hype video for all the haters that were out there that discounted him, that didn't believe in him. So I did one. So if you want to see a Jalen Hurts hype video, you can go on my YouTube page and watch that also. It's a decent video. I'm not a hype video creator or anything like that. It's just something that I do. If I'm bored or something, I just go ahead and do it. It's just for your viewing pleasure. You go on there. If you don't like it, just say you don't like it. If you like it, hit the like button and, or comment, and share it with other people. So if get those Jalen Hurts haters to watch it and see, how wrong they were about him. All right, so we're going to go into our fan zone because I got a lot of fans. So the fan zone. The fan zone. All right, so fans were in full gear for this game this past weekend, man. It's, just makes you appreciate being, an Eagles fan a lot more, seeing other fans interacting with y'all and rooting for the team. I know a lot of us probably weren't there in person to watch it, but we watch it at home, or you watched it from your favorite like sports bar or Eagles hangout spot. So I'll just go ahead. I want to give shots out to these fans. If I miss you or you think you should have been mentioned, send me a message here. If you're listening to an Anchor, you can send me a message straight onto the episode, or you can even leave me a voice message and say, "Hey, you didn't mention me on this last episode." So, the first person is Bleed Green Forever. I gave shots out to him before. Amanda Gruder, also Heck, Philly and Vegas sports guy, Xbox gamer, Fred Flores, Bird Gang 31, who also has, I think, the BGN Sports Entertainment. He's also, an Eagles content creator. And, if you want to hear stuff about the Eagles, you probably go over there on his page and listen to their thoughts on the birds. I know I have my own podcast, but like I said, this is not about me. It's about the Eagles and us fans. So I listen to other people's stuff. I like to hear other people's opinions on our Philadelphia Eagles, and especially their opinions on the opponents we play. So I listen to other people. I listen to other podcasts. So it's not just, oh, I got podcasts, I don't need to listen to nobody. It's not like that. I'll show love to anybody that I see or listen to. Um, the next one is a fan that's across the pond. And when I say across the pond, he's overseas. So there are international Eagles fans. Like I said, I've met a few of them in my times overseas in different countries, and they're out there. And I gotta get shout out to Gary Scottish Eagle. Hey, you're a true fan when you live overseas, because you gotta watch those games at the wee hours in the morning. I know how that feels when I was living abroad overseas. I had to get up like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, to watch a game. Or sometimes, the game comes on like at 4 o'clock, just depending on what time zone you're in. You have to get up early to watch the games. And that takes a lot of effort, especially when you got work that same day. You try to go to sleep as early as you can the night before, and get up early that next morning just to watch the game. And then it's a weird feeling. It's like watching it here in the States. It's in the evening, or in the afternoons. By the time you get done, it's like, okay, your day is almost over. But over there, your day is just starting after the game is over. So give good shout outs to him. Shout out to Jen. And then give a shout out to Bill Nye, the reply guy, and Vic 3. Uh, Vic 3 also has a show, about the Eagles, so you go check his stuff out too. Max Hardwick, Go Birds and Fire Doc Rivers, JM, Philly fan 20XX, Go Birds. The Go Birds, I gotta say, is at Big Cutter One, Howie Roseman Revenge Tour, Uncle Elroy, Matthew M, Justin Fuller, and David Melandra. If you haven't checked his stuff out, he's a sports reporter. He does reporting on different sports. So if you just like reading articles about your team or about different sports, he covers mainly teams in the Pennsylvania or like Philadelphia area. Um, he does professional sports, college sports and stuff. So and he has updates on Eagles, especially like Eagles tickets and stuff, information about when you can get them. So if you didn't know, the tickets for the NFC Championship game go on today. Today is Monday, and they go on sale on Tuesday, tomorrow, January 24th. So I think it's the same as the divisional round game. Like if you got to go on Ticketmaster, you're probably gonna have to wait again to look at the prices and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure if they're the same prices as they were in the last week, they're probably going to be a lot more this time, but hopefully not, for especially a lot of us fans that want to travel from out of state, to Philadelphia, you know, to see our birds play in the championship game. All right, so Patricia C and Care Bear. Eagles lover. We hate quiz. Hey, bear bleed Kelly Green. Yeah, bear with me because there's a lot of fans, that I want to give shots out to, especially after this past weekend. A Refined CJ, Miss Philly 215, and Unapologetically Travia. So these are the fans I'm gonna get shouts out to for this past weekend. Representing the team, representing our birds. If I didn't mention you, you think I should have mentioned you. If you're listening to this episode, like I said, just send me a message. But I'm excited. I can't wait already. It's gonna be a long week. Waiting waiting for this game. I'm like I don't even want to listen to the sports media hype, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to do us dirty again, like they did against the Giants. Try to make us seem like we were the underdogs. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna do that underdog thing, but they just don't know we work better as underdogs. So we can be underdogs all day. Let them think that. So like I said, look out for my next episode. I'll be doing a preview of the game between us, the Eagles, and those 49ers. It should be a good game. I think it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a lot better than the Giants game. So they're a better team than Giants, so they're gonna give us a better game. But I'll preview that, see how we stack up against each other. And yes, I'm probably gonna have to use a lot of statistics on this one just to see how we fare against each other. So, but I want to thank everybody who's listening. Uh, don't forget to spread the word if you like the podcast, share it with your friends, especially if they're Eagles fans. Let's do our thing, root for our birds. And like I said, come on here, talk birds with me, or hit me up on Twitter at UMCIE, or hit me up on our Facebook page, the Angry Bird Fans Hangout, and let's take this hopefully to the Super Bowl again. So other than that, go birds, fly Eagles, fly.